Today, we are diving into something absolutely critical for anyone thinking globally. We're cracking open the unwritten rulebook for winning in the world's fastest growing and honestly, most complicated economies. Let's jump right in.
Okay, just take a second and look at this map. It's an incredibly simple but wow, powerful visual. That single circle, mostly over Asia, holds more than half of every single person on this planet. Now, if you're a global business, that is a mind-boggling opportunity. But it's also a mind-boggling challenge. So that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you actually win in a place that's not only huge, but where the rules are often unwritten and seem to be constantly shifting under your feet? It's not like playing chess with a clear set of rules. No, it's more like trying to solve a maze that literally rebuilds itself with every step you take.
To even begin to make sense of all this chaos, we need a framework. And the key concept here, the thing that helps us see the matrix, is what experts call the institutional environment. It sounds a little academic, I know, but trust me, this is the secret lens for understanding the hidden forces that shape every business decision in these markets. The big idea really comes from the Nobel laureate Douglas North. He had this brilliant, simple definition. Institutions are the humanly devised constraints that structure human interaction. Really, just think of them as the rules of the game in any society. They're the things that tell you what's possible, what's going to make you money, and what's totally off limits. And this whole idea really boils down to two big categories. On one side, you've got the formal rules. This is the written stuff, the black and white, the laws, government policies, regulations you can look up. But then, on the other side, you have the informal rules. And this is often where the real action is. This is the unwritten code, the culture, the social norms, the deep-seated beliefs that truly drive behavior. And here's the kicker. These rules are two sides of the same coin. They can absolutely constrain you. Think of crazy high tariffs, political roadblocks, or social taboos that just kill a product. But they can also enable you. The government might roll out the red carpet with tax incentives, or maybe the culture is just dying for new tech. So the big takeaway here is that these institutions aren't just obstacles to get around. They can actually be the pathways to incredible success. So, if those are the rules of the game, what's your move? How do you play? Well, the good news is you're not just a passive pawn. You get to have a strategy. You have choices. So I want you to actually think about this. Let's say your company launches in a new market and bam, you hit a bureaucratic wall. Or maybe a cultural norm that just torpedoes your sales pitch. What do, right? Do you just go along with it? Do you try to fight it? Or do you try to find some clever way around it? Well, it turns out your best move probably depends on two key things. And this matrix lays it all out. Just look at the two axes. On the bottom, you have the power of your firm, how much clout you have. And on the side, you've got how important that specific issue is to your business. And depending on where you land, you've got four clear strategies. Let's say you have low power and the issue is kind of minor. You just accede. You comply, you play by their rules. Now, what if you're a big player but the issue is still small? You might avoid it, just find a workaround. But things get really interesting when the issue is critical. If it's a huge deal but you have low power, your best bet is to ally. You team up with local players to build influence. And then, the boldest move of all, if you have a ton of power and the issue is absolutely critical, you go for it. You try to alter the rules themselves. Okay, theory is great, but let's make this real. It's one thing to talk about these ideas, but it's totally different to see how they play out on the ground. So we're going to zoom in on India, which is just the perfect example of why you can never, ever treat an emerging market like it's one single place. Take a close look at this map. These aren't different countries. These are all states inside of India. And the colors show just how wildly different the ease of doing business is from one place to the next. A strategy that crushes it in Gujarat might completely fall on its face in West Bengal. There's a fancy term for this, subnational heterogeneity. But all it really means is that a single country can have many different worlds inside it, and you have to understand that. And hey, if that last map didn't blow your mind, this one probably will. On the left, you've got your standard map of India. But on the right, the economists reimagined each state as a country with a similar-sized economy. Just think about this. The state of Maharashtra has an economy the size of Singapore. Uttar Pradesh, it's on par with Qatar. You're not just entering one country here. You're entering dozens of completely distinct economic worlds, and each one has its own unwritten rules. Now, don't get me wrong, on a national level, India has made some incredible strides. You look at the World Bank's ease of doing business rankings, and you'll see the country leaped from 130th all the way up to 63rd by 2020. That is a huge jump, a really impressive headline number.
But that shiny national average is incredibly deceiving. It completely hides the reality on the ground. This table shows you what I mean. You could land in Andhra Pradesh, which is ranked second, and feel like it's one of the easiest places on earth to do business. Or you could be in West Bengal, down at 17th, facing a totally different set of headaches. You have to ignore the national headlines and zoom in on the local institutional environment.
All right, so let's bring this all home. Let's tie this all together. If you're going to walk away with just a few key ideas from all this, these are the ones that really, really matter. First, success isn't just about having a great product. It's about mastering the institutional environment. Second, always remember that these rules are both the written laws and the unwritten cultural codes. Third, and this is so important, never treat a country as a monolith. The differences within a country like India can be just as big as the differences between two separate nations. And that means, finally, your strategy can't be one size fits all. It has to be flexible, it has to be smart, and it has to adapt to the specific local rules of the game you're playing. So that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. For any business trying to make it in today's world, what do you think is actually more important, having the perfect product plan or having the savviest playbook for navigating all these unwritten rules? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us.